Welcome back to Spider Red. I'm going to do the 6A Georgia High School State Championship. This is another review and predictions. I'm going to make this a little quicker. I learned some things while I was doing the Class 5A. I'm going to take each bracket and I'm going to get them all the way to the Final Four. And I will do one bracket at a time. I'm not going to do a breakdown of the 8 teams. And then at the Final Four, I'll discuss a little more about those 4 teams. And then I'll give you the prediction on a championship. And then at the very, very end, I will do some of the top recruits for 6A. So let's start with the top left-hand corner of the playoff bracket, and we'll start with the Dunwoody Wildcats taking on the Lee County Trojans. This is a 2 and 3 seed. Lee County is actually ranked 6 in the state. Again, I'm using Max Prep's ranking for this. And on this, I just think that Lee County has a very good offense and enough defense that they'll take care of Dunwoody. So I actually have Lee County winning this game. Moving on down the bracket, we have Effingham County Rebels. They're the number 1 seed for Region 2, taking on the Lovejoy Wildcats. They're the Region 3-4 seed. This is going to be my first upset of the entire playoff bracket. I'm actually going to take the Lovejoy Wildcats upsetting Effingham in this game. So I'm going to have Lovejoy moving into round 2. Going on down the bracket, we have the Sequoia Chiefs. They are the 2 seed in Region 6 versus Alpharetta Raiders, which is the 3 seed from Region 7. Sequoia is actually ranked 13th. Even though they're ranked 13th, they have similar defenses. I actually think Alpharetta Raiders played in a little tougher of a region. I already have another upset here. I'm going to take the 3 seed Alpharetta Raiders beating Sequoia. Alpharetta will move into round 2. Going down to the Douglas County Tigers taking on Habersham Central Raiders. I just think Douglas, they're actually ranked 2 in the state right now. Yeah, they're the 1 seed taking on the 4 seed. I just think the Tigers are going to be too much. Habersham doesn't have enough offense, and Douglas's defense is just too good. So I actually have Douglas County moving ahead into the second round. So let's move back up. We still have Lee County taking on Lovejoy. I have that ranked 6 county. I had Lovejoy as an upset to Effingham, but there's going to be no upset here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Lee County Trojans to beat Lovejoy. County would move into that Elite 8 spot. We go on down. I had another upset with Alpharetta, and they will be taking on the ranked 2 team in the state for this class, Douglas County Tigers. Again, I just think Alpharetta and Sequoia, those 2 threes can be really closely matched sometimes, but Douglas County's a good football team, and I want to have them moving on to the Elite 8. Now we have the Elite 8. We have a 2 seed, a ranked 2 versus a ranked 6. Lee County is a 2 seed. Douglas is a 1. Lee County, their only 2 losses. They went 8-2 this year. They played Colquitt County. If you know the Packers from Colquitt, they're a very good team. They're actually in Class 7A for Georgia. And then Lee County lost to Thomas Central, who is actually the number 1 ranked team in the state. They were in that region. So they lost. That's their only 2 losses. Douglas County is undefeated. Lee County they have a lot of offense, but I think Douglas County's defense is going to be enough to slow down the Trojans of Lee County, and I'm going to have the Tigers going on to the Final Four for this top left-hand bracket. So that completes that bracket, and we'll move on to the next one. On down to the bottom left hand of the playoff bracket for 6A. And we'll start off with a very good game. This is a Region 4 2 seed and a Region 1 3 seed. That Region 1 is a very tough division. We actually have a top 10 matchup in the first round. And this is the Houston County Bears. Do not say Houston, they will kick you out. It's actually Houston County, not Houston. It is spelled like Houston, but they say Houston. The Bears will be taking on the North North Atlanta Warriors. Houston is ranked 9th in the state. North Atlanta is ranked 10th in the state. So it's pretty impressive that we have a top 10 matchup in the first round. I think North Atlanta's defense, their only loss was a very tough loss to Marist, and it was a close game. Houston was in that Lee County, Thomas County Central region. They are battle tested. I think North Atlanta is going to have enough offense. Their offenses are good enough to match each other, but I think that defense is going to be enough. So I'm going to actually have the ranked 10 team beating the Houston County Bears. So the Warriors will move on to round 2. Come on down, we have Evans Knights versus Woodward Academy War Eagles. The 1 seed of Region 3, they're actually ranked 12th in the state. I'm going to have Woodward County winning this game. Evans, they have hardly any offense, and Woodward County, they only gave up 99 total points the whole season. That defense is going to be able to easily shut them down. I don't see this game being any good, and the War Eagles will dominate and move on to the second round. Let's move on down. We have the Creekview Grizzlies. They're the 3 seed from Region 6, taking on the Blessed Trinity Titans. Blessed Trinity actually won 3 state titles from 17-19. They were in a class below. They have actually moved up into 6A, and they're actually the 11th ranked team, and Creekview is actually ranked 14. And Creekview actually has one of the top 100 recruits in the state. He's an offensive line, Andrew Rosinski. That Blessed Trinity defense is just going to be too much for Creekview. I have the Blessed Trinity Titans. They are a very good football program. I'm going to have them moving into the second round. Going on for the bottom, we have the Gainesville Red Elephants. They're the 1 seed taking on the South Paulding Spartans, which is the 4 seed. South Paulding is not a good football team. Their record is actually 3-7, and all 3 of their wins came in their region, and that's how they were able to get that 4th seed. Gainesville is going to have an easy game here, and the Red Elephants will move on to that second round. I actually have no upsets in this bracket for round 1. We'll move over to round 2. At the top, we had the North Atlanta Warriors taking on Woodward Academy, the War Eagles. So both of these teams lost to Marist. The other defeat for Woodward Academy, they were 8-2. They lost to Cali High School. They're actually a really good program up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So if I kind of compare what they both did against Marist, both of them played them very tough. I just think Woodward Academy's, I think their defense, and with them having the home field advantage here, I'm going to give it to Woodward Academy. The home field advantage in high school, it's like college. Momentum means a lot in high school just as much as college. I think that home field will push them to the Elite 8 game. So I'm going to have the War Eagles, even though they're ranked 12th and North Atlanta's ranked 10th, I'm going to have the ranked 12th team taking out North Atlanta. We come down to the last round 2 game in this bracket. We have the Red Elephants of Gainesville taking on Blessed Trinity Titans. This has 5 ranked going against 11th rank. This is a 1-2 seed. It should be a pretty good football game. I mean, Blessed Trinity's a good team, but Gainesville's an even better team. I still think Gainesville's just too good of a team. Blessed Trinity had lost to Marist while Gainesville had beat Marist. I'm using Marist a lot in this association here. Just by association, I'm going to have Gainesville winning this game against Blessed Trinity. So Gainesville will move into that Elite 8 game. So now we're going to have Woodward Academy versus Gainesville. I think Gainesville, they played in the championship game last year and lost to Langston Hughes, who has a very top recruit. I'll talk about them on the other side of the bracket. Gainesville, again, Gainesville's got a pretty good draw here, just like they probably have one of the better draws in the entire bracket, so to speak. Even though there's a lot of ranked teams on this side, Gainesville is a very good football team, and I think they're going to beat Academy. And one of the main Woodward Academy, Gainesville's defense are very good. I just think that Gainesville has more offense and is going to be able to run the ball a little better against Woodward Academy. I have Gainesville moving into the Final Four, and that will complete the bottom left-hand bracket. Let's move to the top right-hand side of the bracket, and we have in the first game, it's a 2 and 3 seed, and these are actually ranked in the top 20. We have the East Paulding Raiders. They're ranked 15th. They're the 3 seed from Region 5. They will take on the Lanier Longhorns, who is the 16th team, and man, they are so evenly matched. I'm gonna on a lot of these games like this, I'm going to pick the home field team just because they're not having to travel. That Lanier, the Longhorns will win this game. I mean, this is a coin flip. Turnovers could really decide this game. You could go either way with this one. I'm going to take the home field advantage with this, and I will say the Longhorns move into round 2. Coming down, we have a 1 seed versus a 4 seed. We have the River Ridge Knights taking on the Roswell Hornets. Man, Roswell, that offense, they scored 517 points in the regular season this year, and they only gave up 114. Their only loss is to Milton, and if you know Georgia high school football, Milton's a very good program in the class above them, 7A. This is going to be a bad football game. I actually think Roswell will probably shut them out and probably put up 30, 40 points. Like a 41-0 win for Roswell in this. So Roswell will easily move into that second round. We go on down, we have another 2 and 3 seed. We have the Brunswick Pirates, who is 3 seed from Region 2. And they're going to be taking on Mundy Mills Tigers. Both of these teams, this is another 2 or 3 seed. An upset here. This is one of my upsets in the bracket. I have the Brunswick Pirates taking out the Tigers of Mundy's Mill. I just think that Brunswick have enough offense, and I don't think Mundy's Mill will have enough against Brunswick's decent defense. And Brunswick is ranked 19th, and I don't know about... There are so many teams bundled up between 15 and 22, but they still have that rank. And I'm going to take Brunswick to move into the second round. Move on down, we have the Northside Warner Robins Eagles. They actually have a safety who is a top 20 recruit in the state of Georgia, Ricardo Jones, taking on the Marist War Eagles. So we have an Eagles battle here. Marist actually has Luke Harpring. He is a tight end. He's actually a top 30 recruit. Marist has one of the top 5 defenses in this class. North Warner Robins has one of the worst defenses in this class. Marist is going to easily win this game. I have the War Eagles beating the other Eagles and moving on to the second round. We'll go back to the top where we have the Lanier Longhorns, the 2 seed, taking on Roswell. Again, Roswell's just a better team. That offense is so explosive. I have them beating Lanier, and they'll move on to the Elite 8 game. Going down, the Pirates of Brunswick taking on the War Eagles of Marist. Marist played in a very good region, and they have an elite defense. Their only loss is actually to Gainesville, who I have in the Final Four already. Marist is a good team. This is not going to be a close game. I think Marist will probably win like 30-14, something like that. And I will have the 7th ranked Marist Eagles moving on to the Elite 8. So let's get to that Elite 8 game with the Roswell Hornets taking on Marist. Roswell's ranked 8th, Marist is 7th. Both of them have a very good defense, but Roswell's offense is extremely too talented. I think Roswell's offense is going to push them over. With me doing this so early, if both of them make it, with them both being a 1 seed, it will be a coin toss to see who gets home field advantage. That could help Marist if they were to get it, but I still think Roswell's offense is going to be too much, and I'm going to have the Hornets taking out the War Eagles and moving on to the Final Four. And that completes the top right-hand bracket. Moving on down to the bottom right-hand corner of the playoff bracket, we'll go ahead and start at the top with the North Forsyth Raiders taking on the Langston Hughes Panthers. Now look, this is a 2 and 3 seed. Langston Hughes is in this region that's pretty tough. I mean, Langston Hughes is a very good football team in there with Douglas County. Langston Hughes only lost 2 games. Their 2 losses were against 2 very good football teams. I'm going to talk about that a little later on. Or North Forsyth, they got a bad draw here. Langston Hughes is going to probably destroy North Forsyth tonight. Expect Langston Hughes to move on to the second round. The next game, I have a 1-4 seed. I have the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets taking on the Rome Wolves. I know Rome very well. I worked in that city for 15 years. I went to a lot of Rome games. They actually won 2 state championships. I actually went to one of the championship games in the Dome when they won by points. They only gave up 77 points this year during the regular season, which is crazy. And 30 of that went against Carrollton, who has a very high recruited quarterback. So if you look at that, if you take 40-something points over a 9-game stretch, wow, they're not giving up a lot of points. So I have the Rome Wolves taking out the Yellow Jackets. Now look, the Rome Wolves, they also scored 503 points on offense. They are ranked 3rd in the state. I have them easily moving on to the second round. We come on down to another 2-3 seed. We have Jonesboro's Cardinals taking on the Glen Academy Terrors. That is one of the best mascot names. If you look, we've had like 8 Raiders, probably 2 or 3 Yellow Jackets. But the Terrors, they actually use like a pitchfork from Arizona State for the Red Devils. But the Terrors, I congratulate whoever picked out that team. That's a unique, cool mascot. And I just love that stuff. I actually have an upset, though, for the Terrors. I don't think they're going to have enough offense to beat Jonesboro. I actually have the Jonesboro Cardinals taking out my favorite mascot, the Terrors. Sorry, Glen Academy. You are in a tough region too. I still have Jonesboro winning that game. At the bottom, we have the St. Pius X Golden Lions. They are a 4 seed against Thomas County Central, which is the number 1 ranked team in the state, in this class. Poor St. Pius. They were another fortunate team that won all their games in the region. They only scored 102 points this whole season. That's right at 10 points a game. Thomas County's only letting up 87 and scoring 424. Yeah, the Yellow Jackets are going to take out the Golden Lions in this game. This could be a huge blowout. Expect Thomas County to put some of their second string guys in pretty early. They'll easily move on to the second round. We're going back up to this incredible round 2 game. We have a top 5 ranked game in round 2. We only have one of those in the Final Four. We have Langston Hughes Panthers taking on the Rome Wolves. You have Aaron Nolan at Langston Hughes, who is recruited to Ohio State. He is the 6th top recruit in the nation, a very good quarterback. Langston Hughes, they lost to Douglas County, who is on the other side of the bracket that I already have in the Final Four. They also lost to Butler Bulldogs, who is a very good team in North Carolina. They're actually the 3rd best ranked team in North Carolina. Langston Hughes has ton of recruits. Outside of Aaron Nolan, they have a wide receiver, Joseph Stone. They have another running back and a safety that's ranked in the top 100 for recruits. This team is loaded. Rome's defense is incredible. This will be a home game for Rome. I'm actually going to try to go to this game next week. I'm only like 22 miles from Rome. I'm probably going to try to go to this game because I think both of them are going to easily go into that round. I hate to do this, but I just think that I just think Aaron Nolan's going to find a way, because Rome struggled against another highly recruited quarterback, and that was their only loss. I just think Nolan's going to be the deciding factor, and they're going to upset them seed-wise, but rank-wise, Langston Hughes is ranked 3. Rome is ranked 4th. I just think Langston Hughes is going to find a way to win that game. But I also want to give some props to Rome. That coach that they've brought in, he's already won 2 state championships. If you just look at their stats, this has been an incredible team this year. I'm hoping they find a way to win. I think Hughes is going to be too much. And also, remember Rome, they used to be split into East and West Rome. The West Rome Chieftains, for a very long time, was the only team to win 4 straight state championships. That was the West Rome Chieftains. It didn't happen until Buford did it into the 2000s. West Rome did it in the early 80s. So they held that title of being the only team to win 4 straight titles for a very long time. But I wish, it just depends on if Rome's stifling defense can hold them. I just don't think they can, and I'm actually going to have Langston Hughes moving on. Coming down to the last game in the region, you have Jonesboro against Thomas County Yellow Jackets. The Cardinals are playing the number 1 ranked team in the state. I think Thomas County, they got a pretty good draw here. I think they're going to easily win this game and move on to the Elite 8. So let's move to the Elite 8 game. I've talked a lot about Langston Hughes. I actually don't know that much about the Yellow Jackets of Thomas County Central. I was looking at a lot of their stats. They have a top-ranked defense as well. With Langston Hughes being a 2 seed, Thomas County would get the home field advantage here, and I'm going to have one of my bigger upsets here. I mean, it's not too much of an upset. Langston Hughes is ranked 3rd in the state. Thomas County is 1. I had that backwards, by the way. Rome was 3, Langston Hughes was 4. I would have Langston Hughes, the 4 seed, upsetting the 1 seed. I had put that wrong in my notes, so I apologize for that. But Langston Hughes upsetting Thomas County to go into the Final 4. So that completes a crazy bracket, probably one of the better brackets in the playoff 4-6A, and that completes that bracket. On to some 2 very good football games. Let's look at the Final 4. We have the ranked 2 Douglas County. We have the Tigers taking on the Red Elephants of Gainesville. Gainesville played, I had mentioned earlier, they played in the championship game last year. Gainesville has enough defense to slow Douglas County down. Their offenses are similar. And I actually have Gainesville upsetting Douglas County, and they will move on to the championship game. So I'm going to have the Red Elephants moving into the championship game. Let's go on to the Final 4. 2 great football games here. On the left-hand side, we have the ranked 2 Douglas County Tigers taking on the Gainesville Red Elephants. I've talked about both teams enough. I think Gainesville, their defense is going to be able to stifle the Tigers just enough. It's going to be a very close game. This would be another coin toss to see who gets home field advantage, but I'm going to have the Elephants of Gainesville beating the Tigers of Douglas County, and Gainesville is going to be going back to the championship game. Moving on over to the right-hand side, we have the Roswell Hornets taking on those Panthers of Langston Hughes. I've talked about all the recruits for Langston Hughes. I'm going to have another upset here. I think Roswell's offense, this is going to be a toe-to-toe match. It might come down to who has the ball last, and I think the Hornets are going to upset Langston Hughes and get that win to go into the championship game. So in the championship game, I have the Roswell Hornets. They are ranked 8th in the state. Gainesville is ranked 5th. I actually have the championship game as not a top 5 game. It would be a 5 versus an 8. And for the championship, I have the Roswell Hornets. Unfortunately, the Red Elephants are going to lose another title game. Roswell is going to get that championship that they've been fighting for past 5 or 6 seasons. They've had so many good seasons in a row once they got that new coach. So congratulations. I'm picking the Hornets, and that will conclude my predictions for 6A Georgia football. Okay, I'd like to go over the recruits. There's 5 of them in this class that falls into Georgia's top 50 for recruiting. We'll go ahead and get started with Aaron Nolan. He's a quarterback. He's 6'3", 195. He's committed to Ohio State. He's at Langston Hughes. He is nationally 57th. He's the 6th best quarterback and 8th in the state. Next is Andrew Rosinski. He is at Creekview. He's a tackle. He's 6'6", 255. He's going to North Carolina. His national ranking is 191st. His position ranking is 17th, and his state ranking is 25th. Going on down, we have Luke Harpring. He is at Marist. He's a tight end. He's 6'3", 210. He's staying local at Georgia Tech, which is always good. National ranking is 224th. His position ranking is 16th, and his state ranking is 30th. And then the last 2 got 2 more Langston Hughes kids. Joseph Stone, wide receiver, 5'11", 180. He's committed to Louisville. They don't have his ranking for national, but his position position ranking is 45th, and he's 37th in the state. Jacob Good, who is a safety, he's 5'11", 180. He's going to Central Florida. He's not ranked nationally either. His position in state rank, he fell in that top 50. He's 50 on both sides. So you can see, I had talked about earlier that Langston Hughes has a pretty good bit of talent. I mean, they have the most talent in this class as far as the top 50 recruits. But I just kind of wanted to go over that. Thank you for listening to Spider Red and the predictions that I had for this class and the few recruits that they have fallen in the top 50. Tell somebody you love them. Later.